Imagine that you've been saving up for this amazing new life-changing game that's coming out soon. You've done odd jobs around the house, helped your neighbors shovel their driveways, and held onto your birthday money from grandma, even though you really, really wanted to buy a lizard at the Renaissance fair you went to on a field trip. It's now Friday and the game is out, but your parents can't take you to GameStop until Sunday, so you wait in agony all weekend. When you finally get it, you open it and an avalanche of paper bursts out from the case, filling your living room. What's going on, you think, as you reach for one? It's a review of the game you're about to play. They're mostly negative. Are you still going to want to play it? Maybe out of morbid curiosity. But you'll most likely just sigh and throw it into the check back in 3 years when it's had time to cook pile. But guess what? That whole story? It was made up. None of that ever happened because when you would go out and buy a game at the store, you would just go home, play it for hours every day, and have the time of your life. It worked out of the box, and that's all you needed to have a great time. Of course, there may have been some exceptions to this, but it certainly didn't happen with almost every major release. The game that inspired me to make this lovely and totally not depressing video was Jedi Survivor. Came out a couple days ago, and it basically doesn't work for a lot of PC players, and it's such a shame. Games aren't just launching broken today. Besides the technical issues, the companies behind them just don't care. Gaming culture has changed so much in the past 10 and especially the past 20 years, and it seems like the more information we have access to, the quicker things move and the sooner we forget. Elden Ring had some pretty big issues on PC at launch, but no one talks about that anymore. And I guess that's because it's actually a good game. At some point though, we have to stop forgiving and start questioning. We don't need to ask why, we know why, money. But what we do need to ask is how. How can we change things? I guess that's a pretty tough question to answer though. Those of you who have been here before know I like to keep things positive on this channel. I usually showcase promising upcoming indie games because there are so many talented and under-recognized developers with amazing ideas. And for every cool new trailer or project I come across, my feed is flooded with 10 times the amount of bad news. A lot of that does come from more mainstream games and their developers, but there have been some indie horror stories too. It's kind of like the saying, hurt people hurt people. The more negativity there is out there, the easier and faster it'll spread. But how exactly do you stay positive when everything is spiraling out of control? Well, to do that, I think you have to find little beacons of hope. Games and creators that speak to you and fill your life with a little more joy. Communities that are excited and supportive. I feel like social media in general usually does more harm than good, but how do we separate video games from these diseased platforms when everything is online? Well, we have to get creative and make our own spaces dedicated to it. We need to find other people who don't want to dwell on the bad and work together to bring the good to more people's attention. We won't really ever be able to escape bad news completely, so I guess my call to action here is be the person that creates some good news. If one bad thing is enough to ruin your day, then isn't one good thing enough to make your life a little better? So be the reason that there's one more positive review out there. And I've got a little good news for you all. After almost 1 year posting videos here, I finally earned enough money for YouTube to send me my first check. 6 months ago, I made a video called Together We Can Support Indie Game Developers. And now I'm finally going to be able to live up to that promise. In fact, there's a Kickstarter campaign coming out this summer for a game I've been following, and I am so excited to back it. So in addition to talking about upcoming games on here, I'm going to be able to help make them a reality. And I think that's some pretty good news. So, thank you.